Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is my utmost pleasure to welcome you to this very special occasion, the public lecture on knowledge exchange program held here at Mulawarman University. I'm Amade Arianto, and I'm deeply honored to serve you as your master of ceremony for today's event. We are honored this morning to be graced by the presence of our esteemed guests. Please allow me to introduce and extend our heartfelt welcome to the Honorable of Canada, His Excellency Mr. Just Dutton, the Honorable Acting Governor or East Kalimantan, or the other representative, the Honorable Insinyur Ujang Rahmat MSI, the Honorable Rector of Mulawarman University, Profesor Dr. Insinyur Haji Abdunur MSI IPU ASEAN Engineering, the Honorable Chairman of the Organizing Committee, Mr. Andri Lesmana Saturninus WSTP MSI Han. In addition, I would also like to express our sincere gratitude to all the participants joining us today. Your presence and enthusiasm are what make this event truly meaningful. Before we officially begin, let us unite in singing Indonesia National Anthem. I kindly ask all participants to stand up. Thank you. Please be seated. To start today's program, let us bow down our heads and offer our sincere gratitude to the Almighty God for His blessings, which have allowed us to gather in this morning. For the opening prayer, we would like to invite Mr. Rudini Asos Emsos to lead us in prayer.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bapak Ibu dan teman-teman mahasiswa yang berbahagia, marilah kita sama-sama berdoa menurut agama dan keyakinan kita masing-masing agar kegiatan kita berjalan dengan lancar, penuh dengan kebermanfaatan. Mohon izin untuk memimpin doa pada kesempatan kali ini. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammadin fil awwalin wal akhirin wa barik wa sallim wa radiyallahu ta'ala an kulli sahabati Rasulillahi ajma'in. Amin ya rabbal alamin. Hamdan syakirin birahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim. Allahumma rabbi israh li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Ya Allah, ya Rahman, ya Rahim, Engkau adalah Zat yang maha pengasih lagi maha penyayang. Pagi hari ini ya Rabb, kami berkumpul di tempat ini. Izinkan kami menengadahkan tangan, bermunajat kepada Engkau ya Arhamar Rahimin. Jadikanlah kami orang-orang yang pandai mensyukuri setiap nikmat yang Engkau hadirkan ke dalam kehidupan kami ya Rabb. Kami mohon kepada Engkau ya Rabb, hilangkanlah keraguan, hilangkanlah kegelisahan di dalam dada dan hati kami ya Rabb. Mudahkanlah segala urusan kami ya Rabb, terkhusus urusan yang kami laksanakan pada pagi hari ini ya Rabb. Urusan yang senantiasa mendatangkan kecintaan, keridhaan, juga keberkahan dari sisimu ya Arhamar Rahimin. Juga kami mohon kepada Engkau ya Rabb, hilangkanlah keluh dari lidah kami, agar apapun yang kami sampaikan, apapun yang kami bicarakan, apapun yang kami omongkan ya Rabb, menjadi nilai kebaikan, menjadi nilai kebermanfaatan, dan mendapatkan kasih dan ridho dari sisimu ya Arhamar Rahimin. Ya Rabbana, hanya kepadamulah kami meminta, hanya kepadamulah kami memohon. Kabulkanlah doa kami, perkenankanlah munajat kami ya Rabb. Rabbana ya Allah, atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kepadamulah kami memohon, kabulkanlah doa kami, perkenankanlah munajat kami ya Rabb.
Thank you, Mr. Ruduni, Asos Emsos. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Andi Lesmana Saturninus WSSTP MSIhan, the organizing committee chair, to deliver his report on today's event. Please welcome Mr. Andri to the stage. Please give him applause. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Andi Lesmana Saturninus WSSTP.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Please welcome Mr. Andri to the stage.
Honorable His Excellency, the Ambassador of Canada, Mr. Jas Dutton, Honorable Assistant for Economic and Development Administration of East Kalimantan, Insinyur Ujang Rahmat, MSI, Honorable Rector of Mulawarman University, Profesor Dr. Insinyur Haji Abdul Nur, MSc IPU, and respected Vice Rectors, College, Deans, and Academicians of Mulawarman University, and all esteemed guests and attendees. Good morning and greeting to us of all. Let us offer praise and gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the Almighty God, for the many blessings He has bestowed upon us, especially the blessing of good health, allowing us together and strengthen our bonds during the knowledge exchange program this morning. Allow me to report on the implementation of the knowledge exchange programs as follows. First, introduction. The knowledge exchange program organized by the East Kalimantan Provincial Liaison Office is an initiative aimed to add strengthening and collaboration and knowledge exchange between East Kalimantan and international partners. This event seeks to enhance understanding and insight on global issues and foster networks between academics, practitioners, and government officials. Second, objectives of the event: to provide a platform of knowledge a platform for knowledge exchange among experts and practitioners from various countries, to introduce international perspective and policies relevant to the context of East Kalimantan, to strengthen cooperation between Mulawarman University and international institutions, particularly Embassy of Canada. Third event schedule: date September 12, 2024, time 9 AM, venue Mulawarman University. Fourth keynote speaker. The event will be attended by the keynote speaker, the Ambassador of Canada. His presence will offer valuable insight into international cooperation and policy relevant to the global context. Fifth, preparation and implementation. Coordination. The organizing committee has conducted intensive coordination with the Mulawarman University and the Canadian ambassador to ensure the smooth running of the event. Facilities: the seminar room has been equipped with adequate audiovisual equipment. Invitations have been distributed to participants including academics, practitioners, and relevant government officials, and estimate 200 participants are expected to attend. 6. Closing. We hope that this knowledge exchange program will be a beneficial forum and contribute positively to the development of knowledge and international cooperation in East Kalimantan. Thank you to all parties who have supported the organization of this event. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Mr. Andri, for the comprehensive report. Next, we are honored to invite the Acting Governor of East Kalimantan, Professor Dr. Andes Akmal Malik, MSc, or Mr. Insinyur Ujang Rahmat, MSc, as the representative to the stage. Please give him a round of applause. Next, we are honored to invite the Acting Governor of East Kalimantan, Professor Dr. Andes Akmal Malik, MSc, or Mr. Insinyur
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
as the representative.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and best wishes for all of us. I would like to extend my sincerest apologies from Acting Governor for being unable to attend this momentous occasion in person. He has kindly asked me to represent him in delivering his remark. Honorable His Excellency, the Ambassador of Canada to the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Kegiatan, Honorable Rector of Mulawarman University, Professor Dr. Abdul Nur, Chairman and Organizing Committee of Public Lecturer Knowledge Exchange Program, Honorable Dean, academics, lecturers, and students who have contributed to this academic endeavor. Ladies and gentlemen, we are truly grateful to God Almighty for His abundant grace and gift, which have made His public lecturer knowledge exchange program in Mulawarman University possible. On behalf of Government of East Kalimantan Province, I would like to express my sincerest gratitude to all parties who have contributed to the organization of this event. I would especially like to thank His Excellency, the Ambassador of Canada, who has taken the time to share his knowledge and experience and provide very valuable global perspective for participants here. Ladies and gentlemen, this knowledge exchange program provides a valuable opportunity for all of us, particularly the younger generation, to learn, exchange idea, and develop insight. In this era, globalization and technology advancement, international collaboration like this is becoming increasingly important. This is a wonderful chance for us to learn from developed country like Canada, which has long history experience in various fields, including education, technology, environmental protection and rehabilitation, also conservation, and modern governance. East Kalimantan has so much potential, but we do face some challenges. We are in need of young people who are open-minded and have global skill. I hope that the student and academic present can take advantage on this moment to learn and be inspired. We can develop innovative thinking to advance our region. East Kalimantan Province is currently in a crucial period of development, particularly with the relocation of the nation of capital. This is an available opportunity for us to demonstrate that East Kalimantan has the potential to become a hub of growth and civilization, not only at the national level but also on the global stage. Therefore, enhancing the capabilities of our human resources took initiative like this is highly relevant and aligned with this vision. I am confident that the cooperation between East Kalimantan and Canada, as well as with University of Mulawarman, will continue to grow in the future. This event marks as beginning of greater collaboration in education, research, and innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, I am hopeful that this meeting will prove beneficial for all of us in fostering innovative idea for development of East Kalimantan. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for Mr. Ujang Rahmat as the speech. Next, I would like to invite Director of Mulawarman University, Professor Dr. Insinyur Haji Abdunur, MSc IPU ASEAN Engineering, to share his opening remarks. Professor Abdunur, the stage is yours to proceed. Please give him a round of applause. Next, I would like to invite Director of Mulawarman University, Professor Dr.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. Good morning ladies and gentlemen. Selamat pagi. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Rahayu, Rahayu, Rahayu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Our Honorable and Excellency for Ambassador of Canada for Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Jes Dutton, our Honorable Acting Governor of East Kalimantan, Professor Dr. Akmal Malik, MSc, and now represented by the Second Assistant, Mr. Insinyur Ujang Rahmat, MSc, our Honorable Liaison Office of East Kalimantan Provincial Jakarta, Mr. Andri Lesmana Saturninus W, SSTP MSI, and our Honorable also for leader of Mulawarman University attending on this event, the first Vice Rector for academic, Professor Lambang Subagio, the third Vice Rector for student and alumni, Mr. Professor Muhammad Bazar, the fourth Vice Rector for planning and collaboration, Mr. Nathaniel Dengan. Honorable also some the dean of faculty Mulawarman University attending on this event. Looking the dean of medicine faculty, Mr. Nathaniel Tandiroga, backside of you. So apologize. And the dean of teaching faculty, Professor Susilo, the dean of Political and Social Science Faculty, Bu Dr. Vina Purkonya, the Dean of Law Faculty, Dr. Mahendra Putra Kurnia, and the Head of Bureau of Planning, Mr. Sugiyarta, and the Dean of Pharmaceutical Faculty, Dr. Hadi Kuncoro, and the expert of special staff for the Vice Rector, Dr. Irman Irawan, and all of us student and lecturer Mulawarman University that attending on this event. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Rector Mulawarman University, I would like to say welcome special for Ambassador of Canada, Mr. Jess Dutton. Welcome to Mulawarman University. Welcome to Samarinda. Welcome to East Kalimantan. East Kalimantan now located new capital city Indonesia. Moved from Jakarta to East Kalimantan, close to our university, Mulawarman University. Usually, the people first come to Samarinda must be drink Mahakam River water, so you can be come and come more to Samarinda. Please drink of Mahakam River water later. Mulawarman University have a vision as a standard university to world-class university. And we have scientific oriented as like tropical rainforest and its environment. So by new capital city of Indonesia with forest city, green city, smart city, and sustainable city, so Mulawarman University must be support new capital city Indonesia to keep its environment. So, Mulawarman University must be make the best thinking and best study and about research for support our new capital city environment. As a rector Mulawarman University, I want to say about thanks so much for your visiting program from Embassy of Canada to Mulawarman University to make general lecture about the Canada government and making a collaboration program between us, Mulawarman University and Canada government and Canada embassy. Looking forward, maybe many program collaboration between us, make like student exchange program, maybe young's mobility program between Indonesia and Canada, and especially for research collaboration. Last time we talking about maybe looking forward for make research collaboration between us, like how to make support our new capital city Indonesia, including forest management. We talking about how to make integrated coastal management in East Kalimantan, including mangrove area in coastal East Kalimantan. Our mangrove ecosystem condition now maybe already 60% already converted to be stream pond area. So now we have a special collaboration program with forest and environmental ministry for rehabilitation and planning mangrove forest in East Kalimantan. Maybe Embassy of Canada support this collaboration program also. Ladies and gentlemen, and special for Ambassador of Canada, Mulawarman University have about 35,000 student body, and we have 13 faculty or college and 1 graduate school. So the next maybe in Mulawarman University have student from Canada. So please arrange the program student maybe a student new student from Canada by collaboration program, and then student exchange program between University, Indonesia and Canada also. And for all of participants, maybe we have by general lecture, we can improve our knowledge and understanding about Canada government and policy, and maybe diplomatic strategy, collaboration, and also relationship between Indonesia and Canada. The next must be better, I think. And we have also please connecting to many university in Canada for collaboration between Mulawarman University. Looking forward and the future also, Mulawarman University making many program for international collaboration between university in the many country. So maybe not yet from Canada University collaboration with Mulawarman University. Maybe by this event and by helpfully by Embassy of Canada can do collaboration, many collaboration with many university in Canada with us. Ladies and gentlemen, finally I would like to say thanks so much for planning program this event by Liaison Office East Kalimantan Province Jakarta, and maybe the next many connecting to collaboration with many embassy in the world. And Mulawarman University always ready for many collaboration between many institutions and many university in the world. Thank you for Mr. Jess Dutton. We hope you enjoy when stay in East Kalimantan, and maybe you are comfort stay in Samarinda, maybe one night or tonight, and maybe you have planned to visit to new capital city also. You already visit to mangrove area, but not to meet crocodile also. Be careful, because sometimes crocodile dangerous for us. Sometimes it's not lucky crocodile to eat human. Human is like animal for certain time. So be careful every time, I think. Safe for you, and please visit to many destination area in East Kalimantan. Many Dayak village already. Not yet visit for Dayak village in Pampang. You can go to Tenggarong museum also. We can do study anything and collaboration program also, education and culture exchange program also, I think. And maybe looking forward to many program collaboration between us Orients. So for everything, thanks so much for your visiting. Thanks so much for your Orient collaboration between Mulawarman University. And we hope not only Mulawarman University connecting to with Embassy of Canada, but we hope all of university in East Kalimantan, especially in Samarinda, together collaboration program with Mulawarman University for Embassy of Canada. Thanks so much for everything. Thanks so much for attention, and thanks so much for all of students and ladies and gentlemen already attending on this event. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Mohon izin Bapak untuk bertahan sejenak. At this moment, we will proceed with the gift and souvenir exchange between our distinguished guests, followed by a group photo session. Kepada tamu undangan yang terhormat, dimohon untuk naik ke atas panggung. And for His Excellency Mr. Just Dutton, please come up to the stage. At this moment, we will proceed with the gift and souvenir exchange between our distinguished guests, followed by a group photo session. Kepada tamu undangan yang terhormat, Kepada para wakil rektor dan asisten undangan dipersilahkan untuk naik ke atas panggung. Kepada para wakil rektor dan asisten undangan dipersilahkan untuk naik ke atas panggung. Dipersilahkan untuk foto bersama terlebih dahulu. Dipersilahkan untuk foto bersama terlebih dahulu. Kayak gini. Ini aku biasanya gini. Please from here and face this stage. Baik, selanjutnya akan ada sesi foto bersama dengan para peserta. Kepada para tamu undangan silahkan untuk turun ke bawah panggung dan menghadap ke atas panggung. Next we'll do a photo session with our participant. For our honor guests, please went down there and face the stage. Ya. Baik, selanjutnya akan ada sesi foto bersama dengan para peserta. Teruntuk para partisipan dipersilahkan untuk berdiri. Untuk para peserta yang ada di sebelah kanan dan kiri, teruntuk para partisipan dipersilahkan untuk berdiri. Untuk para peserta yang ada di sebelah kanan dan kiri, oke, siap. 1, 2, 3. Sekali lagi. 1, 2, 3. Salam semangat. Oke. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Sekali lagi. 1, 2, 3. Salam unggul. Ya. Salam semangat. Oke, 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Salam unggul. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the highlight of today's event is the presentation by the Honorable Ambassador of Canada, His Excellency Mr. Kegiatan, who will share his insight on knowledge exchange program. Following the presentation, we will open the floor for a Q&A session. At this point, I will hand over the session to our moderator, Mr. Tendi Esos MA, one of the lecturer from Social Science, who will guide the session. To moderator, please welcome to the stage. Please give him a round of applause. I will hand over the session to our moderator, Mr. Tendi Esos MA, one of the lecturer from Social Science, who will guide the session. To moderator, please welcome to the stage. Please give him a round of applause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Tendi and I will serve as the moderator for today's public lecture. So to start the session, with honor and pleasure, I would like to invite His Excellency Mr. Kegiatan to the stage with me. Round of applause please for Mr. Kegiatan. All right, ladies and gentlemen, academic colleagues, fellow academic scholars of Muhammadiyah University of East Kalimantan, students and all guests and attendees, good morning and welcome to the public lecture of Canada's Indo-Pacific Strategy and Indonesia. A warm welcome, especially addressed to Rector of Mulawarman University, the Vice Rectors, Acting Governors of East Kalimantan, by this represented by the Provincial Assistant 2 of East Kalimantan, the Head of Department of Communication and Information Technology, and the Head of the Liaison Body of East Kalimantan. And Mr. Ambassador, selamat pagi dan selamat datang. Good morning and welcome. You're welcome. For a start, Mr. Ambassador, I would like to start by putting forward my perception. And this perception doesn't necessarily represent all the minds of the academics and the scholars and the local governments here in the stadium, but rather me as a common and regular people. So forgive me my language, pardon me my mind, but I will start by saying that we don't see much of Canada. And by don't see much, I mean as in sense that we don't know much. When we talk about the bilateral ties, diplomatic affairs, and then cooperation, perception of power, or probably the regional power, for instance, no, not much. A few articles and research have been conducted here in the university as a part of the academic studies, but still, no people-to-people relations, business relations, people exchange, student exchange, professional exchange, or probably scholarship. Nothing that we see or any potential relation between the two civilizations we see and experience in practice a lot. So, but this situation could be very much understandable considering the fact that for over the years we here in East Kalimantan, we were not exactly the nucleus part of the bilateral and diplomatic administration between Canada and Indonesia. But now that we experience changes, as you may know, East Kalimantan now serves as the host province of the capital city of the states. And this will lead to the question with a bigger picture. What do we have to know about the past of the relationship? And then what do we need to think about the present of the relations? And what to expect for the future? And to get to know to that, Mr. Ambassador, the next valuable minutes are yours to lead, so you may have your presentation, please. This will lead to the question with a bigger picture. What do we have to know about the past of the relationship? And then what do we need to think about the present?
Salam alaikum.
For the future. And to get to know to that, Mr. Ambassador, the next valuable minutes are yours to lead, so you may have your presentation, please.
Salam alaikum. Bapa Abdunner, rector of this incredible university. My guide and friend over the past few days, Bapa Ujang. Thank you very much for your hospitality. Terima kasih. Bapa Andre, thank you for your words earlier today. Selamat pagi. Apa kabar? Bagus, bagus. So it's a great honor for myself and my colleagues. I have 3 colleagues from the embassy with me here today. Pa Hari, Ibu Maria, and Ibu Ariel. For 3 of us, it's our first visit to East Kalimantan, and I can tell you that over the past 3 days, we've incredibly enjoyed our experience here in Samarinda, but in this beautiful East Kalimantan, as I think was mentioned yesterday, we went on a field trip to the Delta, where Canada is doing some work in the rehabilitation of mangroves and the local ecosystems to the benefit of the communities and the businesses that are located there. And it was just an incredible journey, meeting with some of the communities, being welcomed in such a warm and wonderful way, and of course, seeing the natural beauty of this incredible province. So thank you very much, all of you, for the very, very warm welcome. And I must say I'm a little more nervous now that there are so many deans and professors in the room. Hopefully we're managing expectations, but and thank you for your question, and I'm here to say you're wrong. Yes. One of the reasons I'm here today with my colleagues is really to spread the word about Canada, to spread the word about the Canada-Indonesia relationship. You know, we live in Jakarta, a huge city, yet Indonesia is so big, so diverse, and so vast that it's important to get out of Jakarta as much as we can, to meet with local communities, to meet with local leadership, to present and discuss Canada with great universities like this one. So that's why we're here, because we recognize that our countries are so far apart. It takes minimum a day to get here by airplane. The Pacific is so big, yet Canada is a Pacific nation. Canada has very important links to the Indo-Pacific. And so it's very important for us to travel throughout Indonesia and to generate awareness to enhance our people-to-people ties, to ensure that Canadian companies are more active and aware of opportunities, and to really enhance our knowledge of Indonesia, but also to enhance your knowledge of Canada. And that's really critical to our mission here, and that's why I'm thrilled to present to you today. So the title is Canada's Indo-Pacific Strategy, but what I'll really talk most about is Canada's relationship with Indonesia. So first, let me tell you a little bit about Canada. So you're all, I'm told, the brightest students in the university. So who can tell me what is the capital of Canada? Ottawa, great. You get to leave early today. Sorry, Rector, I hope that's okay. Does anyone know what the population of Canada is? So it's a population of about 40 million people. So that's about the size of the greater Jakarta area. So it's a very, very small country by population compared to Indonesia, the fourth most populated country in the world. But you can see from this map, Canada has a vast landmass. We're the second largest country in the world by geography, number two to Russia, and we border 3 seas, the Atlantic, the Pacific, and the Arctic Ocean. 80% of Canadians live within 100 or 200 kilometers of our border with the United States. That border is the largest undefended border in the world. We have 10 provinces, and then you can see in the north, we have 3 territories. Northern Canada is a beautiful winter landscape most of the year. Only about 100,000 Canadians live there. And Nunavut, the territory to the right of the map in the north, it is governed by the Inuit population, so the indigenous population that has lived on those lands for centuries. But Canada and Indonesia have a lot in common, even though we may not know a lot about each other. So Canada has the largest coastline in the world. Which country is number 2? Indonesia, a very vast coastline. Indonesia is a country of islands. I don't think anyone really knows the exact number, but over 17,000, let's say. Canada, too, is a country of islands, except we have more than 52,000 islands. So we're very, very similar in these ways. And of course, Canada is a very multicultural country, which I think is very similar to the Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, or unity in diversity, that we see here in Indonesia. So in Canada, you have people from all over the world. It's a country of immigrants. And the Indo-Pacific is a large part of our story. And peoples from this region are a large part and a very critical part of our Canadian fabric and our Canadian society. If you're in a big city in Canada, you can hear many, many different languages, almost every language on the globe. And more importantly, you can have food from almost any country in the world. So depending on how you're feeling for breakfast, you could have a good Indonesian breakfast, you could have a good Italian lunch, and then maybe Korean or Japanese for dinner. So it's really diverse in that way, and I think our diversity, like Indonesia, is a strength and something that we try to foster and take advantage of. So the next slide, please. So the Indo-Pacific, of which Indonesia is one of the most important countries in the region. This is our future, and we recognize it's our future. When you look at the focal point of power in the world, of growing economies, the world looks towards the Indo-Pacific as a future engine of economic growth. And so a few years ago, the Canadian government introduced something called the Indo-Pacific Strategy. Now, this isn't just a government strategy where we have programs and resources. This is a whole of society strategy where we try to shift or at least enhance Canadians' knowledge and vision on this region. So it not only includes, of course, deepening our political ties, having Canadian companies more present, but it's having Canadian people more knowledgeable and more present in the region, and having those in the region much more knowledgeable about Canada and seeing Canada as a land of opportunity. It's about opening new trade opportunities, establishing stronger security partnerships, and also about enhancing our people-to-people ties. We want to have many, many more connections with Indonesia and the Indo-Pacific. And of course, my colleagues and I are working very hard every day to enhance this strategy and to implement this strategy and to deepen our relationship with Indonesia in all spheres. So, if we could go to the next slide, please. So I'll just tell you a little bit about the Indo-Pacific strategy, and then I'll try to focus a little bit more on our bilateral relationship. And of course, I'm happy to take any questions that you may have. So these are the 5 pillars of our strategy. Okay, this is what we're all focused on, and this is what we're trying to do in Indonesia and Vietnam, in India, Japan, Korea, countries of the Indo-Pacific. So the first is promote peace, resilience, and security. So I think, as you all know, this region is incredibly important to global economic prosperity. The trading routes, which have been active for centuries, are critical to the supply of goods to value chains as products move around the world. So having an open and free Indo-Pacific is very much in Canada's interests because Canada is a trading nation. We rely on trade for our prosperity. And when these trading routes are threatened, when they're disrupted, that has an impact on Canadian companies and on Canadian society. So a few things that we're working on here to promote peace and security. Of course, we're working closely with ASEAN and leaders within ASEAN on the situation in Myanmar and bringing peace to Myanmar and, of course, justice to those who have been persecuted. We're working with countries in the region on the women, peace, and security agenda, so recognizing the important role that women play in ensuring peace and security and stability around the world. And of course, a good example of that is we helped train some of the women police that were part of Indonesia's deployment to the UN mission in the Central African Republic. And I think, as you all know, Indonesia is a very, very important contributor to peacekeeping missions around the world. And Canada is very, very proud of being able to support Indonesian women that are being deployed on these difficult missions. We're supporting countries in the region and Indonesia on counterterrorism support programs, anti-crime programs, money laundering, support for law enforcement, cyber cooperation, and of course, illegal fishing, which I know is of keen interest to Indonesia. So there is a training center run by, in partnership with Indonesia in Semarang, in Java, and Canada has one of our police officers, a senior police officer, permanently based there. And Canada runs training programs, a wide array of training programs across many, many different domains for not only Indonesian police and other security services, but security services from across the region and beyond. So we have expanding trade, investment, and supply chain resilience. So, as I mentioned earlier, this region is the future. It will be the engine of economic growth over the next century. We're investing heavily here to ensure that Canada is part of this economic growth and that Canada supports the economies in this region as they grow in sustainable fashions. So We're establishing a gateway which will facilitate Canadian business in the region. Our Export Development Bank is opening offices across the region. They just opened an office in Jakarta last year, and we've appointed a regional trade representative that travels the region to enhance trade between Canada, ASEAN, and the Indo-Pacific. So we're investing and connecting in people. So what does that mean? Well, that's about you. It's about students. It's about youth. It's about establishing scholarship programs so more Indonesian students look to Canada as a place to study and to learn. It's also about encouraging more Canadians to look to Indonesia to better understand Indonesia and Southeast Asia so we can learn more about this region and this country. Green and sustainable future. Well, this is where Indonesia is critically important, given its rich biodiversity, incredible oceans and forests that serve as important carbon sinks as we all grapple with climate change. So we're working in Indonesia, and I'll discuss a little bit more detail later, but we're working with countries across the Indo-Pacific to assist the energy transition and to ensure that the growth that this region will see is equitable for all and sustainable for all. And of course, Canada as an active and engaged partner. That's more about us than you. That's ensuring that we have a presence in the region. It's ensuring that we visit different parts of Indonesia, that we have trade missions and trade delegations to visit different parts of Indonesia, that we try to spread the word about Canada to all regions of the country and the Indo-Pacific. It's about greater political engagement, sustained political engagement at very, very senior levels. So this takes a lot of time and resources, but we've recognized just how critical that is to building the relationships with important partners in Indonesia and the Indo-Pacific. So if I could go to the next slide and talk a little bit about Canada-Indonesia bilateral relations. And so I hope you're going to take some notes. Okay, great. So we've been partners since 1952. So that's 72 years of diplomatic relations. And Canada was one of the first countries to support Indonesia's independence in the United Nations many, many years ago. We have shared values of human rights, democracy, and multiculturalism. We're part of some very important clubs working together. Of course, there's the G20, ASEAN. Canada is a strategic partner of ASEAN, and of course, APEC. We are working closely to enhance our military ties or security ties. We just had a big multinational exercise in Surabaya, and Canada was present. It was led by the United States and Indonesia, and Canada had about 20 soldiers participating. Exercise Super Garuda Shield. We have many of our naval ships that have traveled to Indonesia for ship visits and to do joint exercises with the Indonesian Navy, and perhaps next time one of our ships can come here to East Kalimantan. We're negotiating a free trade agreement. So that is really, really important because, and we call it a comprehensive economic partnership agreement because it is about partnership and it's about shared economic growth. So we've been negotiating this for a number of years, and we hope to conclude negotiations by the end of this year. And that will be critical to opening our economies to each other, to ensuring that both Indonesian and Canadian companies know more about the economic opportunities in each of our countries. It will reduce tariff barriers so that our goods and services have a more equal footing to compete here in Indonesia and in Canada as well. We will be leading a trade mission. Over 200 Canadian companies will be traveling to Indonesia in December, traveling to Jakarta to build partnerships with counterparts here in Indonesia, and it's from across Indonesia, hopefully, but to build partnerships and to seek new opportunities for our shared economic growth, not only here in Indonesia, but in Canada as well. And of course, you know, Canada has already exports a lot to Indonesia. So does anyone here like Indomie? Yeah, yeah. So how often do you eat Indomie? Every day, yeah. So if you're going to remember one thing from my presentation today, maybe it will be this. You know the noodles in Indomie? Guess where the wheat comes from? It's a hard question. I'm the Canadian ambassador talking about Indomie. Where does the wheat come from? Canada. So every time you have Indomie, what are you going to think about now? Yeah. You see? Isn't that great? I mean, this is, and of course, you know, it's our largest export to Indonesia is wheat. And I'm really, really pleased that it's such an important component of a product that is consumed by myself, my colleagues, and of course, I think all Indonesians living here in Indonesia and of course elsewhere in the world. And we want to do more. The Indonesian government talks about food security. Canada's part of Indonesia's food security because we're a reliable, secure, friend, and safe trading partner. So we want to be part of that journey. And of course, you know, we'd like to bring more durian and Indonesian mangoes to Canada. I'm not sure, Canadians will have to learn a little bit about the durian. You know, the smell might turn them off a little bit, but then when they taste it, I'm sure Canadians will fall in love. And then, of course, we're here to support the energy transition, climate change. This is something that impacts all of us. It may impact us differently, but climate change impacts every society, every country, every community on this planet in different ways. Canada last summer, so when I say summer, I mean the June to September period in Canada of 2023, we had vast forest fires. It was the worst forest fire season ever in our country. Cities that had been immune to smoke from fires were having them spread across our cities for the first time. The area that was burned last summer was huge. And that is a good example of the impact of climate change on Canada. And so one of the things that myself and my colleagues are doing here was visiting the mangroves in the Delta, because we are helping to support the restoration of these important ecosystems in a natural way. You restore the mangroves, that has great benefit to the communities. It makes the shrimp ponds more productive. It attracts new products such as crab that families and communities can use to harvest. And of course, it enhances the fish population, not only in the shrimp ponds, but also in the Delta itself. So it enhances livelihoods, but it also serves as a carbon sink, because mangroves actually absorb 4 times more carbon than regular trees. So by this one project and intervention, we're helping to support not only communities, restoration of natural habitats, but also the global fight against climate change, because Indonesia is, I believe, the richest country in mangroves in the world, and all of us need these mangroves to thrive in order to reduce the impact of climate change. The broader energy transition, Canada is very engaged in initiatives such as the Just Energy Transition Partnership, which perhaps that's a Jakarta term, but essentially it means that we're helping to invest and support the energy transition here in Indonesia, the move away from fossil fuels to renewable forms of energy, whether it be geothermal, solar power, or wind power. And of course, we're supporting gender equality in the empowerment of women and girls. We're working to increase women and girls' voices and leadership in political and economic life, strengthen their access to productive resources and participation in the economy, support health and nutrition, and advance and protect their rights, notably sexual and reproductive health rights. This includes building the capacity of grassroots women's rights organizations and supporting gender-responsive budgeting. If 50% of the population is not making an active contribution to the economic life of any country, then we're not taking advantage of our opportunities. So if I could go to the next slide, please. And I'll conclude soon so we can answer some questions. So that's me up there. And who knows who the other guy is? Yeah, that's the president. So I had the honor to present credentials to His Excellency Bapa Joko Widodo last December, sorry. And of course, one of the things that he told me was what a great relationship he has with Canada's Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. And, you know, hearing those words from him really resonated with me because it told me that at the most senior level of the Indonesian government that they value the relationship with Canada and that they see opportunities in strengthening the relationship with Canada. So we work together on international issues, such as I had mentioned Myanmar and the Rohingya crisis. There's the war in Gaza, where our foreign ministers communicate on a regular basis. In fact, Minister Ibu Retno will be traveling to Toronto, Canada in the next few weeks to attend a Women Foreign Ministers meeting in advance of her engagement at High Level Week at the United Nations in mid-September. We work closely together to support the rights of Afghan women. And I must say Indonesia has been a leader in that regard, and it's something that Canada very much wants to support. And we work closely on other global issues that impact all of us. Indonesia has a very important voice, a very, very strong voice, and one that Canada values, and one that Canada wants to influence. We don't agree on everything. We don't have to agree on everything. But it's important that we talk and we work together to jointly see where we can collaborate to help resolve global issues. We have different perspectives on the war in Ukraine. Okay, that's something that is a critical and existential threat to Canada as a member of NATO. It's perhaps far away from here. And of course, Indonesia's foreign policy has been one that tries to build friendships and relationships with all, and Indonesia has been a leader for decades in that regard. So we may not share exactly the same perspective. I don't think anyone wants this war, sees it as valuable or contributing to anything, and I think, you know, I think we all know who the aggressor is. But we take different approaches to how we respond to this war. Canada applies sanctions. We speak out at the United Nations and other multilateral fora. Indonesia has made the decision not to do so. But we still talk about it. We still have engagements at the most senior levels because we're friends and we're partners. And that is what's most important. And we will continue to be friends and partners for years and decades to come. And one of the reasons why we're here is to build and strengthen this friendship, not only in the Big Durian, as Jakarta is known, this big, big city that's so different from here, but with every island and every province of Indonesia, because this country is really, really, truly important to us. So with that, sorry, are there any more slides? I hope not. Oh yeah, there's one other slide, probably for the young people here, even maybe the rector, Bapa Rector. The next slide. Follow us on social media. Please, Instagram. So terima kasih for your time. I'm willing and happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Well, Mr. Ambassador, as a international relations scholar myself, your presentation generates a lot of questions for me subsequently. But in my personal consciousness, I need to stay out from abusing my role as a moderator. So considering the time that we have left, I guess the questions need to take stands from the floor immediately. So ladies and gentlemen, questions are open. Okay, we have one question. Oh, wow. I think I need the help from here, from the chair organization, because, wow. Notes, considering the time that we have left, again, English will be very much appreciated for this session. So the first question will have to come from the edge of the stadium. Students.
All right, good morning. My name is Elsa, and I'm from International Relations major. And hereby, I would like to state my question. Firstly, well, I would like to state the context first. The geopolitical climate. All right. The geopolitical climate that surrounds Indo-Pacific is quite vibrant. There is certainly a horizon of opportunity, like you said. However, there is also a horizon of conflicts. For instance, the presence of China's 9-dash line conflict, that is certainly one of the countries that you're having relations if it comes to economy. The conflict does not only involve the Indo-Pacific countries, but also US, your fellow neighbor. So, and it is involved directly within that conflict. So how does Canada, as a country that is currently led by liberals, settle your positions and security inside of the Indo-Pacific geopolitical situations? And how does the opposition party, the Conservatives, give any kind of critics towards your current incumbent policies? And does the situation will affect your FPA, I mean your foreign policy towards the Indo-Pacific countries, Indonesia to be specific? That would be my question.
Thank you. That's a good question. Terima kasih.
International relations students. International relations student.
Great. Should I answer, Bapak
You want
Moderator?
to,
Okay. First of all, thank you for naming both our governing party and our opposition party, the Liberals and Conservatives. So thank you for that. And, you know, I think Canada's position has been very clear on this issue. And I think, you know, there's been an international tribunal that has actually made a ruling on the 9-dash line, which Canada very much supports. And Canada has, you know, very serious concerns with China's actions in the South China Sea, specifically the conflict that we've seen with the Philippines, where the Chinese Coast Guard, fishing militias have been acting in a very dangerous fashion towards Philippine vessels. And we have a great worry that one of these incidents will lead to a larger confrontation, which then could lead to a regional conflict. So Canada has a very clear position on that, and we do speak to our Chinese counterparts on this issue very, very forcefully. The Canadian Navy, we have a small Navy, but it's present in the region. And we exercise our right to navigate through international waters. So Canadian naval vessels do pass through the Straits of Taiwan. because in our view, these straits are critical to global supply chains and trade, and these are international waters, and we exercise our right to access and use these waters. The Chinese aren't happy about this, but I think international law is clear on this point, as it is on the 9-dash line. Now, how does that region and potential for conflict impact our relationship with Indonesia? Well, it doesn't, really, because Indonesia is not actively involved in that, and people may have opinions on how vocal Indonesia should be on an issue facing another ASEAN partner, but we discuss these issues with Indonesia. We discuss our perspective on international waterways, freedom of navigation, but ultimately, we're looking to strengthen and build our relationship with Indonesia. Indonesia has a relationship with China, as we all do. China is important to all of our economies. So we really try to, in diplomacy, you need to compartmentalize issues. So it has really, while we're very, very concerned about what we see in the South China Sea and the aggressive actions taking place there, it has no impact on our relationship with Indonesia. And just the last part of your question is, in our parliament, so the Liberal Party is the governing party, I think there is a political consensus that engagement in the Indo-Pacific is critical to our future. I think there's a political consensus that, as I would say, there's in Indonesia, this relationship is pretty important to both of us. So that's no concern. Where I think the government, the opposition would be more vocal is perhaps thinking that we should be tougher on China, as an example, and that we've had a few problems with India, and that we should perhaps rebuild our relationship with India. But I think there's a broad consensus that Indonesia and the Indo-Pacific is critical to our future interests. Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer, Miss, and thank you very much for the question. I guess I will be needing help from here. So the second question will be, I just remember from this section, probably.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Dutton. So my name is Andre Pertama, and I came from English Literature major from Faculty of Cultural Science. In my major, we're learning a lot about the cultural people, about the people itself. And for me personally, I learned a lot about Canada and its people, about the indigenous people and the people from another country, for example, China, Japan, and India. One of the issues that I know happen in Canada is there's a lot of immigrant coming from India. For example, in Vancouver, there's a lot in Indian there, and it's affecting a lot of locals. And my question is, because there's so much cultural differentiation in your country, and it's from different countries and not just tribes, how Canada handle that issues? And can Canada be in a nation that lead and can Canada be an example of a country that has the ability to ensure that the country can also survive and striving as a country that has a lot of cultural differentiation from other countries? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and that's a great question, and it really gets to the root of what Canada is. And I think addressing the key elements of your question is what has made Canada successful. You're right, we have 1.3 million Canadians. Their roots are from India. So 1.3 million Indo-Canadians are present across the country. We have a large number of Ukrainian Canadians, a large number of Iranian, Chinese, Korean, a smaller number of Indonesian, maybe only about 3,000. But Canada is very tolerant. So we're a Christian country, we're a Muslim country, we're a Buddhist country, we're a Jewish country, we have people from around the world, and we all live together and respect our differences. But we accept that by living in Canada, whether you agree or not, there are certain values that are accepted across the country and that are enshrined in Canadian law. So I'll give you the best example is a number of years ago, it became legal, gay marriage became legal. So individuals from the same sex could get married and be recognized in the same way that a woman and man are when they get married. Now, there are many cultural communities in Canada, many religious communities in Canada where this is perhaps against their values and their beliefs. It isn't aligned with their culture, but it's the Canadian way. And we're very, very tolerant of these different perspectives and very accepting of different religions, of different ways of life, of different individuals. It's who you are. It's your ability to be who you are, whatever your cultural or background may be, that I think makes Canada a real success. Now, having said that, no country is perfect. We do have challenges. We see right now the conflict in Gaza. That has been very, very divisive in Canada as our Arab populations, Muslim populations are protesting, our Jewish populations are protesting. It has been difficult to navigate for our political leaders, but they're doing so peacefully and they are expressing their rights. Now, there are a few occasions with sit-ins and these kind of things where law enforcement needs to come and resolve the situation. But there's an open and free debate in Canadian media as long as it's respectful and we don't go towards anti-Semitism or hate speech. So this openness and tolerance, I think, which allows different cultures and backgrounds to look to Canada as a home because they know they can live there, benefit from living in a great country like Canada, but be free to practice their religious and cultural beliefs as long as they are consistent with Canadian law. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, well, as much as I love to be the part of discussion, but as I was assigned to moderate the discussion, yes, oh, great then. Okay, one more question. One very lucky questioner from the floor. Okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jess Datsun. Thank you for the opportunity given to me. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Putri Alisa Waramadani, and I am from the Faculty of Law. I would like to ask what are the benefits of the Canada-Indonesia Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement of both countries? Thank you.
So thank you, terima kasih for the question. And, we're in negotiations right now, so there's not much I can say about the agreement specifically. What I can say is that these negotiations take a long time. So they've been ongoing, I think, since 2021. And so if we're able to conclude negotiations this year, I think that would be a great accomplishment. And what we're really trying to do is find a way to merge kind of Indonesian priorities and practices in terms of these agreements with Canadian ones. And to ensure that an agreement will benefit both of our economies will allow for greater predictability and certainty when companies in each of our countries invest in the other, but also ensure that the benefits of this agreement are felt by all, so that it is as inclusive as possible. So I'll give you an example from the Canadian perspective. When we negotiate these agreements, we usually include an Indigenous chapter, because the Indigenous people of Canada have been an important part of our social fabric, but have also had more challenges than other communities. And it's something where Canada needs to address all of the mistakes that we've made in the treatment of our Indigenous peoples. So we include chapters on Indigenous chapter. There's usually a women's economic empowerment or gender chapter to ensure that communities that perhaps have been disadvantaged historically in Canada have access to the benefits of this agreement. Now, our reality is very different from the reality here, and so that's why we have to negotiate these things. So I don't know what the final agreement will look like, but the end result should be a reduction in tariffs. So Canadian products will be more affordable here, and vice versa, and a greater exchange of goods and services and people between our two countries. So it's important economically, but it's important beyond that as well. I think she's very upset.
Yes.
Maybe
yes,
one
yes,
more.
Right, one more.
Right up there,
To
and then
unupset
and then
the
we really
girls.
have to leave.
Yes.
I'm making my colleagues nervous here, which is kind of fun for me, not fun for them. But we've already checked in, and we have a very fast driver. The rector can ensure we have a police escort to get us to the airport quickly. Terima kasih. Okay. This young
ladies?
oh boy.
Are you addressing for young ladies?
Well, she was very upset.
Okay. By the request
He
of the
doesn't
Miss
look- he's
Ambassador,
not
so
upset,
I think we need to hand the mic to.
She was very upset,
Yes,
so I'm trying to.
I see it.
And she was upset with you,
Yes,
Bapa
I know it.
moderator. So I'm helping you out here.
I need to watch myself way at home.
Okay, thank you for the understanding. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Hidayati. I am from the Faculty of Engineering, from Civil Engineering major. So, as we know, Indonesia is currently developing a new capital. It is, as we have made known, is Ibu Kota Nusantara that has been developing in East Kalimantan. So, as a student whose field is closely related to the development of this new capital, I am curious about your perspective on the role of Canada in supporting the sustainability of the Ibu Kota Nusantara project. So my question is, how do you feel the impact of the bilateral relationship between Indonesia and Canada on this project, and what steps can be taken to strengthen the cooperation between the two countries in this context? That's all for my question.
Okay, terima
Thank you.
kasih. And the creation of a new capital and the building of a new capital is a decision for the Indonesian government and the Indonesian people. And of course, Canada is pleased to support this initiative however we can. And I think, the opportunities are really for Canadian companies, right, that have vast expertise in urban infrastructure, urban waste management, urban design, and urban planning, and then engineering companies that can assist with the development of the infrastructure needed to have sustainable green cities. So, and of course we have institutional investors and pension funds that make their own decisions but could see value in making investments in the new capital. So as a Canadian government, we can draw attention to this initiative, but it's really up to Canadian investors and Canadian companies to determine if they see value in investing, and then if the Indonesian government or other investors want to pay for their services. So I understand in East Kalimantan, this is a very important project that will help with the future development of the province and its prosperity. We would very much like to see Canadian companies engaged there, Canadian investors engaged there, and I think this is where, you know, our trade mission that I mentioned during my presentation, this is where our free trade negotiations, I think, can really draw greater attention to these opportunities in Canada. So Canadian companies and investors will come here, look to build partnerships, look to find local partners, and hopefully make a decision to invest. But ultimately, that's their decision. The Canadian government, you know, it's their bottom line, not ours. We have enough to worry about with our bottom line. So, but we certainly are actively encouraging Canadian companies and investors to come to Indonesia, to do business here, and to invest. Where and how is their decision.
All right.
We're done.
We're
Terima
done.
kasih.
Thank you very much. As I was saying, I was assigned to have the session end by 11. So again,
That's my fault. I can't blame you for that.
thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador, Mr. Justin. It's an honor as well as pleasure to have you sit in front of this marvelous academic society for today's public lecture. And thank you for all attendees and for the participation. And we reached the end. God bless. Good morning. And back to the master ceremony. Thank you very much. Round of applause, please, for Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you. I hope you didn't.
Sure, for sure. As an academic, I get to know everything. And thank you for the presentation.
Terima kasih. We have to go to the airport.
Thank you, Mr. Tendi. Please give more applause. Thank you. Yeah, you may go down. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tendi. Please give up more applause for Mr. Tendi. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's public lecture. Thank you for your active participation and attention. We hope this event has been insightful for everyone. Have a wonderful day ahead. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.